You're listening to Soundside. I'm Libby Denkman. Last night, our country's new avatar for the First Amendment and speaking truth to power, comedian Jimmy Kimmel was back on the air.
This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
He's back after ABC and Disney announced they were lifting a suspension imposed after an uproar on the political right over a joke Kimmel made on his show last week. Kimmel suggested MAGA supporters were trying to score political points from the killing of Charlie Kirk and that they were distancing themselves from the shooter. This was a remark made before the shooter was charged, and text messages indicating that he was on the political left became public. Kimmel didn't quite apologize for the joke, but he also didn't shy away from the strong emotions that it stirred up.
You understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it. I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way.
And you can hear Kimmel choking up there. He did have tears in his eyes for a good part of this monologue last night. He praised Kirk's widow, Erica, for her decision to forgive the shooter, noting that he appreciated it as a fellow Christian. Now, Kimmel wasn't all serious stuff. He poked fun at President Trump and Disney ABC over the Disney Plus boycott push by his supporters. But he saved his most direct jabs for Trump's FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr, who threatened to pursue regulatory action and maybe even pull station licenses for airing Kimmel.
Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. In addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast.
All of this, of course, is happening as Nexstar Media Group needs the FCC to approve and make allowances for its proposed merger with another broadcaster, Tegna. By the way, there was also a really funny bit where they got Robert De Niro to do his Goodfellas shtick and pretend to be the new FCC chair, mafioso style.
Speech, it ain't free no more.
What? It's not free no more?
Yeah, we're charging by the word now.
How much are you charging?
Depends on what you want to say. Like, you want to say something nice about the president's beautiful thick yellow hair, or how he can do his makeup better than any broad. That's free.
But all of this, the riffs, the heartfelt stuff, the goofy skits, that was not available if you watch television in the Seattle-Tacoma market. That's because one of those broadcast companies that Brendan Carr mentioned, in this case Sinclair, owns the ABC affiliate KUOW 4. Sinclair said in a statement this week, beginning Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return. So on KUOW last night, you got about 25 minutes of extra local news. And by the way, the local news team at KUOW has nothing to do with these decisions and, in my opinion, does not deserve any flack for how their parent company handles all this. I'm sure it's a tough time to be working in that newsroom right now. After the local news, Sinclair aired about a half an hour of something called the National News Desk.
The National News Desk, locally covered, nationally connected.
Your countries are being ruined.
President Trump unloading on the UN.
Sinclair is a conservative-leaning company, and that's the vibe that this program gave off. Not a lot of critical insight into the president's comments at the UN. One of their other top stories was the return of Turning Point USA's speaking tour to college campuses. Brendan Carr probably approves of all this. The FCC chair has said that, quote, local TV stations, not the national programmers, have public interest obligations, and they should be making decisions that, in their view, meet the needs of their local communities. So I guess the question for Carr is, what does it mean to meet the needs of a local community? In a deep blue city like Seattle, of all places, does it meet the needs of the local community to preempt a late-night show because the president and his administration don't like his jokes? I asked for your takes on this, and a few of you agreed with Sinclair's decision. Here's our managing producer, Sarah Leibovitz, reading an email from Milan in Bellingham.
Sinclair, as any private entity, has the right to control its product and the content it carries. I grew up under communism and know firsthand what censorship and oppression look like. In any administration, the tension and animosity with the unfriendly press and media often escalates to overreactions. Attempts to suppress inconvenient speech happened during the Biden administration as well, but there was no dissent or concern expressed by progressives or mainstream media. I find it very ironic that the progressives and Democrats are now concerned for free speech and protesting Kimmel's cancellation. For the last 8+ years, the left has engaged in vicious cancellation campaigns on anybody who disagreed with their orthodoxies and dared to speak publicly. Journalists, college professors, scientists, artists, teachers have all been canceled by the left, accused of intolerable transgressions, and literally ousted from their jobs, sometimes careers destroyed. Now, when they are exposed to their own medicine, the left is making a big deal out of it, further feeding the national hysteria. I would be more sympathetic if I saw any sign of remorse, apology, or atonement for their cancellations, but their hypocrisy and lack of self-awareness is appalling. That's my take on the Kimmel situation.
But most Soundside listeners disagreed. Here's a sampling of the calls we've gotten since yesterday.
My name is Jeanette, and I live in Kirkland.
Hi, Libby. This is Jim from Bellingham.
Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'm calling from Tacoma, Washington.
Hi, my name is Joyce Alexander, I'm 83 by the way, a lifelong listener to Channel 4 in Como.
My name's Jennifer. I'm from Seattle. And this is ridiculous. The whole point of a democracy is that we have the right to speak our mind peacefully, with clarity, and we have the right to be wrong. And this whole business of canceling Jimmy Kimmel is absolutely not even the tip of the iceberg. We are halfway down the iceberg.
My name is Dana. I live in Port Hadlock, Washington. I worked late tonight, and the first thing I did when I got in was pull up Jimmy Kimmel on my computer. It makes me heartsick to know how much media Sinclair has been allowed to absorb in Washington state. And I will not waste my time on television until this problem is resolved.
Hi, this is Donna calling from Lewis County. I think that it is no less than bribery for them to require a personal donation to an organization that someone does not necessarily support. I have deleted the apps for ABC and for Channel 4 off of my Roku. I will not support the ABC stations that are owned by Sinclair. And yes, I do think this is just one more step toward a autocracy type of government. And people need to stand up. They need to stand up and speak against it now before it's too late.
Hi, this is Jeff. I live on Bainbridge Island. I am upset at the possibility of businesses not allowing free speech. I am also upset that perhaps somebody went a little over the top in their monologue, but I am probably most upset that when you make decisions about dropping some type of free speech without discussions, it's like firing somebody without telling them, what went wrong. It's not giving somebody a chance.
Hi, it's Lori from Bainbridge Island, and I will not watch Channel 4 ever again.
Thank you, everybody, for your voicemails and your emails. You're coming through loud and clear on this. Even some voices on the right have flagged Carr's threats as a new and dangerous escalation of government overreach. And I do wonder whether this message can get through and unite most Americans, at least on this one point. that free speech is fragile and it's not to be taken for granted. I'm also curious if moves by advertisers and pressure from audiences in local markets like Portland, D.C., and Seattle, whether that will have any effect going forward on Sinclair and Nexstar. In the meantime, most of us are going to continue to watch Kimmel on 20-second clips on social media. I suppose that's the future of all broadcast shows anyway. Thanks for listening to Soundside. This show is only possible because listeners support us. If you're able to give right now, please check out the show notes for a link to donate. And don't forget, you can listen live on KUOW 94.9 FM Seattle at noon and 8 p.m., Monday through Thursday, or anytime online at KUOW.org.